do all kinds of hobby stuff these days, that kind of stuff.
Sure.
My latest focus has been on art kind of things,
Okay.
you know, and so when your message on Facebook came up, I said, oh, yeah, I can do some stuff like that, you know.
What we do here is we treat veterans that can't afford their dental care.
Oh.
We have World War II veterans that we still see here. We have Vietnam veterans that we see. We have people from Korea that we see. We have people from the Afghan war, from the Afghanistan war. All of these different, and a lot of them that spent time during those type of conflicts. Now, it's not as easy as a transition as people think, just to go from a structured lifestyle that the military gives you to this. But the majority of our patients are Vietnam era patients and World War II era
Which
patients.
is my era.
Sure. And so we, it wasn't until maybe 15, 16 years ago that really the U.S. started kind of melting and saying, look, we did you guys wrong. Like there's got to be something else we can do for you guys. And so about 10 years ago, the founder of this program, it was a husband and a wife, Linda Hay and Wayne Hay. They started 10 years ago. I think Linda worked at the UNR here, and she went to a local park and saw a bunch of veterans sitting there. And she didn't know they were veterans at the beginning, but a lot of them were on wheelchairs and things like that. And she kind of asked them, she says, so where are you guys from? And then she started, once they got to know each other, she started what is your main concern as a veteran? And 99% of them were like, we can't get seen at the veteran clinic because we're not 100% disabled.
Yeah.
And so, 92%, there's about 486,000 veterans here in Nevada. There's about 236,000 in the 14 counties that we cover. At about, we see like 62,000 of those will not be seen at the Veterans Administration Dental Clinic.
That's amazing.
62,000. And so we see those patients. We're a nonprofit. Those guys don't give us a penny. So everything we get is from donations. So we're a 501(c) or C3 nonprofit. All of our revenue comes from donations from kind people for the last 10 years that have kept us up and running. Look, we need every single one of you we challenge you guys to follow us on YouTube and Facebook. With the amount of people that, if everyone takes the challenge and follows us, we're able to do more things on YouTube and Facebook because we have so many followers. And that will help us out. But if we can challenge them, like, hey, but I also want to challenge them, like, if you have pictures of you with the Marines or pictures of you on ships or anything, we'd like to post them on our Wall of Heroes, because do you mind if I take a look at
Oh, not at all. Yeah. So let me do some quick explanation.
Okay.
This is, I put a little thing on the back here too.
Sure.
So, basically, this is the FMF, or Fleet Marine Force Dental Technician, rating badge, the shield, Unit 2, not a Unit 1.
Sure, Unit 1.
The hat, 45 pistol, K-bar, and some of the dental tools that you might see.
Awesome.
And
This is amazing.
so this one
Amazing.
is actually a picture of me in my heyday,
Oh, wow.
and there's a few little elements. This is actually on the USS Raleigh. I was on that for 6 months as a deployed, with
Sure.
the Marines. They let us dress in dungarees on the ship, though, thank
Nice.
God. But anyway, this kind of illustrates how dental techs were back in the 70s. There's no mask, there's no gloves.
Sure.
Back then they thought wearing masks would scare the patients, So, and same with, the only time we wore gloves is if we were doing oral surgery or if we had a cut on our hands. And a lot of times it was just a finger caught, over.
Sure.
So, this one, just a little kind of fun one, I thought. You got a dental technician with his girlfriend and worried about oral hygiene. He's got his toothbrush in his pocket there. Well, the beginning of my career, it was like this, very, hey, this is the military, we're here to get the job done. We're not here to worry about all this other superfluous stuff. But by the time I retired in '97, the whole thing had changed. I mean, the Navy had completely changed its focus on how we should treat our patients as far as the sterile. I don't know how else to put it,
Sure.
but it was, a lot of times, it tended to make people kind of angry that they had to change, but in the long run, it made better sense for the patients, and and it did. So.
Sure. Sure.
I was a military brat. Basically, I grew up overseas in Germany, France, Holland. We even lived in Ethiopia for a year.
Wow.
And my dad was an educator for the Department of Defense schools. And so, my first 18 years of life was pretty much over in Europe and Africa. Anyway, a few years ago, I wrote a book about it, and I wrote it from the time that we went overseas to Europe to the time I got off active duty in the Navy. So I considered that all, one big chunk. So there's like half of the book is about my Navy experiences too.
Sure.
So if anybody would care to read about what it was like to be a dental technician in the early '70s, the last half of the book is that. The other half is what it's like to be a son or daughter of somebody that is associated with the military.
Wow.
And I had my dental work done in Army clinics, and, Air Force clinics,
Sure.
And,
What is your book called?
oh yeah, the Italian lesson.
The Italian Lesson. Okay. Now, how can we get a hold of that?
It's on Amazon
Okay.
Okay.
under my name. Put my name in, Kimball Metters, and you should come up with all the books I've written.
Nice. And so, how many books have you written today?
I think I'm up to 5, and I co-wrote a book with somebody, and so.
What are you
Okay.
working on right now, if you don't mind sharing?
It's a book about living in a small army post in Germany
Okay.
called Paul Revere Village,
Oh.
and it was in
Alright.
Karlsruhe, Germany, and
Now, what years are you aiming?
actually we lived there twice, so it'll be from like 1960 to 1962, and then
Okay.
1968 to 1970.
Alright.
So,
Well,
anyway,
this is amazing to finally meet you. I know we were corresponding on email, and I appreciate you making that drive here.
Hey.
It means a lot to us as an organization, but to me as a prior dental technician, it means even more that I have a brother that's willing to kind of put us on the map as well, and try and garner some revenue on that aspect. But we will definitely look forward to a book that maybe we can comprise on what this clinic, on what this organization does. But thank you so much for coming
My pleasure.
and being part of that. And we'll be back with, we're going to take we'll go with Mr. Metters to the clinic, and we actually have an actual clinic session going on right now, and we'll show you guys what we do and who are the people that we treat. So with that, appreciate it. Thank you.